In this video, we will create the last section, which is the buying section in the final grid of the row. Let's continue. Let's scroll up and let's close this column LG3. And then you want to add a note here beside the description. First, middle, 6 grid. Remove this. And you close this down as well. And now we have to create the last section, which will be last 3 grid buying section. Let's copy this one, paste it here, change this SM to 6, and then close the div tag. And then you want to type div class combine by box. In here, div class, which should be by box. And here, div class a section. And then another div clear fix. And here would be div class float left. And then form input type radio. ID which should be test1. Name will be radio group. And then check. And after that, label for test1, which be by now. After this div float left, you want to add a note here, which would be product price. And then div class float right. And then span. And the class will be A size medium. And then a color price, and then offer price, and a text normal. And between the span, you want to add the price. Let's put dummy price first. After we have added a price, we want to go and close this section, which would be a section, and you want to open a new section, which would be div class a section, a spacing none. And then here div class row, and then div class column sm5 column 5. And here will be the list of the quantity, for example, like how many quantities you want to buy a product. So we're simply going to type select, and then there'll be multiple options. So value will be 1, and then quantity will be 1. So I'm just going to copy this and paste another 4 or 5 for now, and change the number. Oops, this is supposed to be 3, 4, 4, and 5. Save this and let's go back to our Chrome. Refresh. Now we have this number 1 quantity, but it looks kind of ugly actually. So you want to change to quantity 1, which will be NBSP. Okay. And let's save this and let's see the changes. And it looks kind of decent. And then I'm just gonna copy this and paste it here, paste it here, paste it here, and paste it here. We can loop this as well. It's up to you which approach you want, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like this. I will loop it once we really need it. For now, we're just gonna leave it as static for now. And then the next step is to close this div class a section, and you want to type another section, which will be div class a section again, a spacing small, a spacing top micro. And then in here you want to type div class row, then span class a color base by box shipping label. Close the span, and then after here you want to type another div class, which would be a section, a spacing small, and then div class a section, a spacing none. Okay, and here will be span class a size size medium, a color success should be in stock. And right after this div, you want to type div class, which will be a section, a spacing mini, ships from and sold by Amazon.com. Save it. And after this section, let's close all this section for now. And then another section, which will be a section as well. And in here, div class, which will be our button stack. Oops, not dic, but div. And here, span class, a spacing small, a button primary, and then a button icon. And then another span class, which would be a button inner, and then I class, which would be a icon, and then a icon cart. And there'll be an input field, type submit, and then name submit to cart. Class would be a button input. Close this input field. And then span class would be a button text to cart. Save this. Let's go back and refresh and see how it looks like. And then let's go back, and we want to copy this div class button stack, paste it down here, and you want to change this a icon cart to a icon by now, and then add to cart, you change it to by now. Let's save it. Let's go back. Now we have add to cart and we have buy now buttons. All right, it looks kind of really nice. And then the last missing part, which will be, and then you want to close this section, and below it you want to type div class, which will be a row. Okay, div class, a spacing top small, and then inside will be div class, a section, a spacing none. And then in here will be div class, a section, a spacing none, a spacing top mini. And then here will be this item ships to, and then you want to type B California, and then B is bull, get it by Monday. Oh, it's supposed to be small. It's gonna be dummy data for now, and then you type in the date that you're gonna get, which will be 23 to Monday, September 30, and then you type choose this date at checkout, and then you want to close this row, and below the row you want to add HR, and then span class, a declarative. Make sure you spell it correctly, and here a href, which should be nothing, and then class a ling normal, then in here div class a row, a spacing mini, and then I class, and then you have an icon, which should be map marker alt, span class a size small, deliver to California. And then after that, after the span, make sure you are on the span, all right? And you add a breakpoint. You add a space, which would be BR, and then HR. And then you want to add div class, a section. Then another div class, clear fix. Then div class, my bad, will be div class float left, then form, and then you add input type radio, and then an ID. It should be test2, name radio group, and then label for test1 by now. And finally, after this form, this will be our last writing these HTML for this part, and then float right span class a color base offer price text normal, and usually you want to add a dummy data, which would be 39 bucks. And finally, really finally this time, I want you to close this combined box, the entire combined box, close it up, and then we're gonna add one thing here, which will be div class KCP app base box text center, and here will be image src image ready on device.png, and then class will be image fluid. This will be our final HTML, and then we are done. So let's go and check Google Chrome. It looks really amazing, but this picture looks kind of big, so we're gonna go back, and maybe I misspelled this. Save it, and hopefully it looks smaller after this. Now it looks kind of decent. We have like the app kind of shaping up, especially for a product page. So I'll see you guys in the next video, where we're gonna do the about the author. If you take a look at the sketch about the author, and then only we're gonna do Axios call. We're not gonna focus on reviews. We're gonna focus on reviews in other sections once we have built the authentication. So I'll see you guys in the next video.